It's a terrible day to do the news because there's only grief and heartbreak today. I'm sure you've seen the pictures already. An Air India plane crashed in Ahmedabad today. It took off in the afternoon, but within minutes, it plunged to the ground, right into a college hostel near the airport. The crash was captured on camera. Take a look. You can imagine what those people went through. They were traveling to London today, maybe to meet family, maybe for vacation, maybe for a job or a college degree. Whatever the reason, you can imagine their emotions. You can also imagine the horror that followed. That's what makes aviation disasters so heartbreaking, the scale and the suddenness of it. The question is, how did this one happen? Let's retrace the plane's journey. This flight was operated by Air India. It used to be India's state-run flight carrier, but in 2022, Air India was bought by the Tata Group. The plane that crashed today was a Boeing 7878 Dreamliner. It is a wide-body passenger plane. It can carry up to 250 people. Now we come to the journey itself. This flight was heading to London's Gatwick Airport. It was carrying 242 people. That's 230 passengers, 10 crew members and 2 pilots, 242 in all. Some foreign nationals were among the passengers, 53 British citizens, 1 Canadian citizen and 7 Portuguese nationals. The remaining 169 passengers were Indian. That's what the flight manifest says. The plane took off from Ahmedabad at 1:38 p.m. local time. It climbed up to an altitude of 625 feet. But within minutes, the plane started dropping. And you saw what happened next. The aircraft crashed into a nearby building. It seems the pilots knew that something was wrong because immediately after takeoff, they reached out to Air Traffic Control or ATC and they raised a mayday call, which is basically a call of distress. And after that, the ATC got back to the aircraft, but there was no response from the other side. Perhaps there was a loss of signal or the plane had already crashed. Now, I know what all of you are thinking. How did the crash happen? Planes are considered the safest modes of transport. This plane, the 787, has never crashed before. So what went wrong this time? Let's go back to the crash visuals. You can see that the plane is struggling to gain altitude. The nose is pointing up, but the rear of the plane just kept plunging. Experts say this shows that the aircraft could not gain lift. Now, what does that mean? Lift is basically a force that pushes the plane up. It allows the aircraft to take off from the ground. It also holds the aircraft in the air. If the plane gathers enough lift, it can climb up and fly away. If not, this can happen, a crash. Of course, the next question is, why wasn't there enough lift? Hundreds of flights take off every day. Why did this one not gain lift? I'm sure an investigation will answer that. We do not wish to speculate here. Investigators will have to recover the black box. They will have to analyze the data. Only then will we know for sure. Having said that, experts have floated multiple theories like engine failure or bird hits, technical snags or wrong takeoff configurations. The fact is we cannot be sure, especially looking at the information that we have. Like I said, the 787 is a pretty reliable aircraft. It has never been in a crash before. Plus, this wasn't some old aircraft either. This particular 787 made its first flight in December 2013. It was delivered to Air India in January 2014, so the plane was just 10 years old. For perspective, an average aircraft is in service for up to 30 years. So this plane was not all that old, 10 years old. And what about the pilots? The plane was commanded by Captain Sumit Sabharwal. His co-pilot was First Officer Clive Kundar. The captain had 8,200 hours of flying experience and the co-pilot had 1,100 hours. So clearly experience was not a problem either. I know it's tempting to dig deeper into what happened, to fall into a rabbit hole, but we would advise against it. Air crash investigations are extremely complicated and sensitive. There are families involved, there are victims involved. So do not turn it into a game of speculation. With that said, let's look at the aftermath. The plane crashed into a residential area in Ahmedabad, specifically near a medical college hostel. Parts of the plane were strewn across the area. Take a look at this. There's debris all around the place and the fire seems to have charred nearby buildings. And casualties, well, the count is still being updated. Most of the injured were rushed to nearby hospitals. Reports say more than 200 deaths have been confirmed. Now, we are not sure if these fatalities are passengers or people living in the hostel. More than 200 confirmed so far. It could take time to ascertain that detail. Which brings us to the government response. Gujarat's chief minister visited survivors in the hospital. The Union Aviation Minister is also in Ahmedabad. A control room has been activated at the Aviation Ministry. A hotline has also been established. We are flashing the numbers on your screen. Do reach out if you need any kind of support. As for the rescue efforts, they are expected to take time. You can see the amount of debris and damage. It won't be easy to clear all of this out. Having said that, it's all hands on deck in Ahmedabad. You've got your rapid action forces, you've got the Central Industrial Security Force or CISF, you've got the Central Reserve Police Force or CRPF, and of course you've got the local authorities. All of them are pulling together to help the survivors. The political leadership is also monitoring the events. We have a quote from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is what he said. The tragedy in Ahmedabad has stunned and saddened us. It is heartbreaking beyond words. In this sad hour, my thoughts are with everyone affected by it. Reactions are coming in from across the world. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer called the crash devastating. Russian President Vladimir Putin extended his sympathies to the families. Ukraine's President Zelensky expressed his condolences. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said that he was saddened by the crash. The Maldivian president pledged solidarity with India. The European Union president called the news heartbreaking. The Chinese ambassador promised solidarity with those affected. As always, grief tends to be a bridge. It brings the whole world together. But India won't be forgetting this tragedy soon. Incidents like these tend to leave a mark on our policy, on our psyche, and our worldview.